What is up, guys? I'm Cash with CashedOutCars, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to restore your headlights to a crystal clear, like new condition, just like these. Let's get started. The first step is to grab some masking tape and mask off around your headlight. This will prevent you from accidentally sanding down your paint, which would lead to way more work. Then you could get ready to sand them down, leaving them perfectly smooth and removing all that contamination and oxidation, which makes them look foggy. I'd recommend wrapping your sandpaper around a piece of foam. This will help spread out the pressure while sanding and also give you something to grip. Since my headlights started only a little foggy and hazy, I started using a fairly fine sandpaper of 1200 grit. I'd recommend starting with the finest sandpaper that you think will get your haze out, because otherwise you'll make deeper scratches than necessary, which will be harder to get out. Wet sand your headlights for best results. I used a solution of water with a drop or two of dish soap to help lubricate the headlight. While wet sanding, ensure that your headlight and sandpaper stay wet. This will avoid deep gouges, which will be hard to get out and will make it harder to get a nice finish. Make sure you apply even pressure on the paper and use circular patterns to get the whole entire headlight. Once you think you're all set with your first grit, spray your headlight down and wipe it. Now your whole headlight should look evenly sanded and pretty foggy. If you missed any spots, go back and wet sand it again. If not, you can move on to your next grit. I used 1500 next. This removed some more contamination, but also started smoothing out the light. Use the same techniques that I described earlier. If you feel any grit like sand or small rocks on either the sandpaper or the headlight, make sure you get it out of there by either rinsing it or wiping it down. This will avoid deep gouges in the headlight, which will be hard to get out. Once you're confident with this grit, once again wipe it down. Your headlight's still going to look very foggy at this point, but don't worry, you'll get it back to perfectly clear condition. For my final sand, I used some pretty fine 2500 grit sandpaper. Once again, I used the techniques that I talked about before. Using a sandpaper this fine will make your headlight pretty much perfectly smooth and ready to be buffed out and made perfectly clear. Once you're done, once again wipe it down. Your headlight will be looking pretty good at this point, but the next step will make it perfect. Apply some buffing compound to the headlight and buff it out. I started with a fairly aggressive, heavy cut compound. I used a generous amount of the compound in a microfiber rag to ensure that the headlight would end up perfectly smooth and crystal clear. Like with the sanding, try to use circular motions and apply even pressure to work the compound. Once it's all dry, buff it off using a clean microfiber. Now your headlight should be looking really clear. I went ahead and repeated this process again with an even finer cutting compound. This made my headlight shine even a little bit more. Just so you could see the comparison, here's a headlight right after it was done being sanded versus right after it was done being buffed. Now your headlight should be looking great, but there's one final step that you should take to ensure that they stay this way. Use some kind of a UV protectant to stop the headlights from becoming foggy again. I used this Mother's Plastic Polish, which had a built-in UV protectant and also put a final finish on my headlights. Now your headlight should be looking crystal clear and good as new. Now you could remove your masking tape and wash your car and it should be looking great. So you could see a comparison, here's my headlights before defogging and after. I hope this video helps you make your headlights perfectly clear and looking brand new again. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe for more. As always, thank you for watching.